Hello guys, here's Programming to Inspire. Welcome to the third part of the pilot test series. First, we have to include the mouse class in the pilot test. So mouse, import mouse. Here in the constructor, mouse is equal to new mouse, and add mouse motion listener to mouse, and add mouse motion listener to mouse. Add mouse listener and add both listeners to the constructor, and in the update method call mouse.update. Now we can go to the we have to create a few more classes. So a new class, one is going to be called game object. This is going to be object that we're going to avoid, game object, and the second one is going to be us, so a player. First, create a game object. Game object is going to have public double x y w x w y for velocity x and velocity y, public int width and height, and public sprite, public game object, for the parameters we are gonna have double x, double y, sprite, double velocity x and double velocity y. This dot x is equal to x, this dot y is equal to y, this dot width is equal to width, this dot height is equal to height, sprite dot height, and the same with sprite dot width, and this dot sprite is equal to sprite, and this dot vx is equal to vx, and this dot vy is equal to vy. Create an update method, public void update. It's gonna be called 60 times a second, the same as every update. So x plus equals wx and y plus equals wy. So however velocity we set here, and when it comes to the end, we have to inverse the speed, so it bounces off the walls. X is less than 0, or x is greater or equal to pilot test dot width minus width vx times equals -1, and copy paste that and change x's to y's and heights to widths to heights. And that's it for the update method. In the render method, we are gonna create a render method first, and renderer dot render sprite, and x casted to integer and y casted to integer. That's it for this class. Now let's go into the player class. Here we're gonna have double static and public x and y, and public static int width and height, it has to be in this order. Public sprite and boolean moving the player is equal to false. Public player double x double y and sprite import the sprite, and this dot x is equal to x, this dot y is equal to y, this dot width is equal to sprite dot width, this dot height is equal to sprite dot height, and this dot sprite is equal to sprite. Now create an update method and render method. In the render method we're gonna call renderer.renderSprite, same sprite, and int x and int y. In the update method we're gonna check if we're not moving the player, if mouse dot is dragging, and is mouse on player. We have to create this method first. If mouse dot get x is greater or equal to x, and mouse dot get x is less than x plus width, and mouse dot get y is greater or equal to y, and here has to be and mouse dot get y is less than x plus height. Return true. This means that mouse is on top of player, otherwise return false. We're gonna set this to public static. And now x is equal to mouse dot get x minus sprite dot width divided by 2, and y is equal to mouse dot get y minus sprite dot height divided by 2. So when we are going to press the mouse and move the mouse, our player is going to go in the middle of the mouse. So that's why we have to subtract half of the sprite. So else here x is equal to mouse dot get x minus sprite dot width divided by 2. Copy paste these two, and if mouse dot is dragging is equal to false, so not mouse on dragging, moving player is equal to false. So when we are not moving the player, we go here. When we aren't moving the player, we have to check if the mouse is on top and we start dragging. Otherwise, we just drag wherever the mouse is. And if the mouse stops dragging, we set moving the player to false. That's it for this class. Let's go to the game. In the game, we have to have a lot of variables. So public static double best and last time, private list of game objects, objects, and private player sprite. Player sprite is going to be new sprite 50 by 50, and the color 0x FF0000. That's a red color. public static boolean game over is equal to true, game started is equal to false, public double start time is equal to 0, and going to the init method, objects is equal to new array list of game objects import array list, and objects dot add new game object. First one will be 100 by 100 and new sprite 85 by 85 0x ff0000ff, and the speeds in the x direction is going to be 7 and in the y direction is going to be 4.3. Copy paste that 3 more times, and here is going to be 355 and 90, and here is going to be 100 by 430, and here is going to be 415 by 450, and here 90 by 75 and 80 here, and 40, 125 by 30, and now the speeds. So here is going to be minus 4.6 by 5.0, and here 7.0 and minus 6.0, minus 5.2 and minus 8.2. Now create a player is equal to new player, at pilot test dot width divided by 2 minus player sprite dot width divided by 2, and player pilot test dot height divided by 2 minus player sprite dot height divided by 2, and player sprite, and game over is equal to false, and game started is equal to false, and renames game starter to game started. I made a mistake. Now let's go into the update method. In the update method we're gonna check if it is game over. If mouse dot button down, mouse event button 1, we're gonna call init method and return. If game hasn't started yet, so if not game started, if mouse dot get button down, mouse event dot button 1, if player is on mouse on top of player, game started is equal to true, and start time is equal to system dot current time milliseconds, else return, and else return. So we have to be on top of the player and press the mouse to start. Now in the update method player.update, and for int I is equal to 0, I is less than objects dot size I plus plus objects dot get I dot update and call collision. Now this is going to method that is going to check if our player is colliding to do anything. We're gonna leave it blank for now and copy paste this into renderer method and change this to render and play start. Okay, now it works. Just game over doesn't work yet, so go into the collision method and for int I is equal to 0, I is less than objects dot size I plus plus game object O is equal to objects dot get I if player dot x is less than o dot x plus o dot width and player dot axis plus player dot width is greater than o dot x and player dot x is less than o dot player dot y is less than o dot y plus o dot height and player dot y plus player dot height is greater than o dot y. This means that we collided with one of the objects, so game over is equal to true. Let's check if the player has collided with the boundaries of the screens. Okay, player.x is less than or equal to 60 or player.x is plus player.width is greater or equal to pilot test dot width minus 60 or player dot y is less than or equal to 60 or player dot y plus player dot height is greater or equal to pilot test dot height minus 60. Game over is equal to true. Now let's check if it is game over. Game over last time is equal to system dot current time minus start time divided by 1000.0, convert to seconds. This is last time, not last timer. If last time is greater than best time, then greater than best. Best is equal to last time. Now let's check it out. Here we made a few mistakes. Here is moving the player is equal to true, and here it has to be y plus height. Now let's check it out. And if we collide with anything, it stops the game. So it works. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one when we are going to display our times and save it.